Hello everyone, my name is Dr. Partharthi. I am a senior surgical gastroenterologist and minimal access surgeon at KIMS Hospital, Minister Road, Secunderabad. Today we will be talking about a very common problem of the GI tract which we see in our practice every day. This problem is called GERD or gastroesophageal reflux disease, or in common layman terms it's called as reflux problem. So let us see in detail what are the causes for this problem, what are the symptoms, how do we diagnose this, what are the various treatment modalities available for it, and what are the newer advances in this. So when we say GERD or gastroesophageal reflux disease, what we mean by that is the contents of the gastric region, gastric meaning stomach, which usually contains the acid or sometimes bile, they abnormally rise up into the food pipe or the esophagus. So these acid and bile, they should not be entering the food pipe into the chest. When that happens, it causes a severe irritation of the food pipe, and thereby the patient experiences a lot of discomfort and pain and other symptoms, and this is called gastroesophageal reflux disease. Normally most of us would have at some point in our life experienced a severe burning sensation behind the chest bone, and that usually goes away with drinking some water or taking an antacid tablet. When this problem progresses repeatedly, gets more severe and persists over a long period of time, it becomes a disease which we call a reflux disease. So what are the common symptoms of this reflux disease or GERD? Number one, most common symptom is called heartburn, by which we mean an intense burning pain behind the chest bone, which the patient experiences when he lies down or at any point in the day. The second problem is called regurgitation, where the patient, along with a belch or a burping, the food or some fluid from the stomach rises up into the chest, and it can even come to the throat, or sometimes, rarely in severe cases, it can even come out through the nose of the patient when they bend down. That is called regurgitation. The third symptom is called reflux, where they constantly feel that some fluid is rising up into their chest. Excessive belching, because of acid they start burping a lot. And the other symptom is called water brash, by which we mean when the acid rises into the throat or the chest, the body reflexively secretes a lot of saliva. So the patient starts secreting a lot of saliva and swallowing it to dilute the acid. Very rarely, reflux can also present in the form of asthma, wherein the acid comes to the throat, again gets sucked into the windpipe, and the patient can develop wheezing or respiratory difficulty. And there are many patients who go around from doctor to doctor thinking that they got asthma, and they try all medicines for asthma with no benefit, and finally it is diagnosed it is not a lung problem, but actually it is an acid reflux which has gone into the lungs, and that causes an asthma sort of symptom in the patient. Sometimes in long standing reflux patients, because the acid keeps coming into the throat and the mouth, the teeth get eroded because of acid. So if you see a patient with severe reflux, they might have yellow teeth because the dentin or the layer which covers the teeth gets eroded. They can also have dental sensitivity, like if they take anything very cold or hot, they can have severe sensitivity. So this is all the entire spectrum of symptoms which a patient with GERD can have. So one of the most important risk factor which causes the acid to come back into the chest in these days is overweight or obesity. So in obesity, what happens? Because there is excess amount of fat which is accumulated inside the abdominal cavity, the pressure on the stomach and the intestines is more. It is like stuffing a pillow with a lot of cotton. So the pressure on the abdominal cavity is very high. So when the pressure below is very high, whatever is there in the stomach tries to escape back into the chest. So obesity is one of the most common reasons why the incidence of GERD is on the rise these days. Other risk factors like smoking. Smoking is a condition where it's a problem wherein the nicotine directly goes and loosens the valve which controls or which prevents this reflux from happening. That valve is under the control of a lot of chemicals. We call that valve as the lower esophageal sphincter. So in smokers, because of this nicotine, the valve gets weaker and the valve relaxes. So when the valve relaxes, acid can freely come up into the chest. Excessive fatty and junk food intake also can increase the incidence of acid reflux. There are certain physiological, like natural times when somebody can experience more reflux, like ladies who are pregnant. They can experience a reflux problem during their pregnancy, and many times after the delivery this problem automatically becomes normal. This is because during the pregnancy time, because of the hormonal changes, the sphincter tone or the tightness of the valve becomes loose, and thereby during pregnancy many women can experience an increased amount of acid reflux into the chest. Excessive alcohol intake also is a risk factor for acid reflux. So among all these conditions, the most important condition which increases acid reflux these days is obesity and improper dietary habits. Most of the times, reflux disease does not require any major testing for diagnosis, because the patient themselves, they come and tell a very clear history that, doctor, I have a severe burning pain in my chest. I can feel something rising up from my tummy into my chest. I can feel some sour or bitter fluid coming into my throat. Rarely I also have the food or rice coming back into my throat. So the symptoms are usually very classical, and they can also say that when I lie down I get increased amount of reflux. So to diagnose reflux is usually not very difficult, but still when you want to further evaluate a patient with reflux disease, there are some tests which are very useful. One of the most important tests we use to diagnose or to evaluate a patient with reflux is an upper GI endoscopy, or in common terms we call endoscopy test, wherein a tube is passed into the mouth through the food pipe into the stomach. What does it do? It will evaluate what is the nature of the valve, whether the valve is tight enough or it has become very loose. In some cases, it will also tell if the stomach has migrated, is it sliding up into the chest, where we call it as a hiatus hernia, where the stomach, instead of being in the tummy, it slides up into the chest, and these patients can have severe reflux. Endoscopy can also grade the severity of the injury to the food pipe. Like if patients who have very severe acid reflux for a long period of time, it can cause small ulcers in the esophagus or the food pipe, and the endoscopy can be used to find out how severe these ulcers are. It can also diagnose abnormally high acid production in the stomach, which can help us to treat this problem. So after endoscopy, the next most important test, which is useful especially in patients who have severe GERD problem, where we are contemplating some sort of a surgery or an endoscopic treatment for this. In those patients, tests like high resolution manometry of the food pipe or even a 24-hour pH study, they are very useful, but it's used only in a very small number of patients, where you are trying to see if these patients will benefit from a laparoscopic procedure to treat the reflux problem. So how do we treat this GERD problem? Like I told you, GERD is a problem majority linked to lifestyle and obesity. So by making modifications in lifestyle and by decreasing the obesity, a great amount of symptom relief can be had. Like what do we usually suggest? We suggest people, we desist them from taking high fatty foods. We ask them to avoid smoking, avoid alcohol. All these three items, high fatty food, alcohol and smoking, act directly on the valve and loosen the valve. So once the valve becomes loose, reflux happens. So once you stop these three things, the valve can get back to its original tightness, and that itself will give a great relief from reflux symptoms. Apart from this, weight reduction is very important. We also advise patients to use elevation in their bed. It is not enough to keep extra pillows. Nowadays we even have these things called an anti-reflux pillow, wherein it is shaped like a ramp, like a ramp or a slope, wherein the patient can lie down on it, and from his chest and head will be at a higher level than the rest of the body, and thereby the acid reflux into the chest can be prevented. We also advise them to avoid going to bed immediately after dinner. We ask them to wait for an hour or two for the stomach to digest and empty itself before they go to bed, so that the amount of reflux which happens into the foot pipe is lessened. Apart from these measures, medicines are very effective in controlling GERD symptoms. We call them as proton pump inhibitors or acid reducing medicines. These tablets are very effective in decreasing the amount of acid produced and thereby decreasing the symptoms which are caused because of reflux. Majority patients respond to medicines and lifestyle modifications. Only when these don't work, especially in a small group of 10 to 15% of patients, they would need some advanced way of treating in the form of an endoscopic procedure or a laparoscopic procedure. We will come to that next. What are the surgical options to treat GERD? Suppose a patient has been treated with medicines and lifestyle modifications for a long time and the patient has not responded satisfactorily, or if a patient is getting dependent on medicines, like they say, if I take this tablet today morning, my day is okay. If I skip the tablet, then the whole day I have reflux problem. In such patients, we offer something called a laparoscopic fundoplication, wherein without making a cut on the abdomen, through the help of small keyholes, the valve which has become loose in the foot pipe is again tightened by using the stomach itself as a collar around it, just like a collar around your neck. The stomach is wound around the foot pipe and an artificial valve is created, and this valve will function to prevent acid from refluxing back into the chest. So this operation is a very standard operation, it's a very successful operation, but it has to be used only in selected patients who deserve this. Once we select the correct patient for this operation and perform this, the symptom relief is excellent and long-term relief from reflux also is excellent. There are many new endoscopic techniques where we avoid a surgery and the entire treatment is done through endoscopy are also coming into the field nowadays. But the standard of care for treating severe reflux disease continues to be a laparoscopic fundoplication operation where an artificial valve is created to prevent acid reflux.